Before we start off today's video, if you guys would like to join the Discord server, link will be in the description below and it will also be in that pinned comment. If it's been more than 7 days, please use the latest video, as that's the one where the links will be working. And of course, I'd love to have you on the channel as well, so make sure to subscribe with that bell on so you don't miss any of my videos, short and community section posts, and make sure to like the videos as well. But anyway, let's get right into today's video. What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Few things before we start. Firstly, I finally got my quiff back, so I actually look half decent in these videos. Brilliant. Secondly, if you do hear noise from outside, I do apologise that I didn't work out there. Granted, I put music over the videos anyway, but you still might hear it. And secondly, no, that was second, I'm an idiot. Thirdly, I'm taking a bit of a break from making YouTube videos for about 2 or 3 weeks. So you won't see any YouTube videos or YouTube shorts. You may see a few community sections because you know I do it every day at the moment. So you might see one every day, every other day. I definitely won't quit doing that because I do enjoy doing them. It's just depending on how it goes really. But anyway, this is the Dacia Jogger. Now this car does not jog. However, it can take you and 6 other people, which makes 7 people who do jog, which is brilliant. Now this is a very cheap 7-seater car. Now saying cheap sounds rude. I don't mean it that way. It's a budget friendly estate MPV sort of deal. Now when it first came out, the basic one was £15,000 I think. And for all that metal and for 7 seats, that's pretty good value. Obviously you don't get much equipment with it, but the premise still stands. Now I say 7-seater because in the UK we did get it as a 7-seater only. I believe you could get it as a 5-seater in other markets. However, this is still a very good car in my mind. So let's get right into the review and see how this car actually fares. Unfortunately, it's not good news because unfortunately James May hasn't said anything about this. He said about the Sandero, you know, the Logi and all of that, and the what's the big one called, the Duster, but not this. Shame. Alright, so when it comes to the exterior looks of the Dacia doesn't jog, the pre-facelift, which is this one, which only lasted for about 2 years I believe, so it has the same sort of face as you'd see on like a Duster or a Sandero or Sandero Stepway, and it's a nice enough looking car, especially for this kind of price point and what people will be using it for. Now obviously it's no, you know, it's budget. It's not like, you know, Volkswagen has 1 million people to design it. However, it's still a nice looking car. So the LED lights are a really nice design. I like how it's like a tree and then you got like twigs sticking out of it. The grills are all a nice design and just the overall shape is nice as well. And you even got grooves in the bonnet as well, which is a nice touch. It does add a bit of flamboyance to this car. As boring, okay, boring is not the right word, but as not okay, I don't know what the word is, but as not much as it is, it does add something to it. And the overall shapes and design and sizes, they all work, they're all fine, nothing wrong with it. And the facelift, well, this is Dacia's new front, and I have said all this in the Sandero that I reviewed many months ago. So obviously you got the new Dacia logo, which is like, well, a D this way and then a C that way, like it's some sort of plugs. And then obviously you got a new sort of grille design where you got like white stripes that go across it. It definitely adds a more expensive look and it adds a more of a sporty premium look as well, which is a nice touch by Dacia. I know obviously that versions that have this new facelift and design are a bit more expensive than the pre-facelifts, however it's still nice. The side profile, obviously this is an estate MPV sort of deal. Ow! That really hurt. Anyway, so obviously you're not expecting it to be a looker, and it's not really a looker, but for what it is, it's not bad at all. Granted, it's a bit bland and boxy, like an estate MPV kind of is. However, there are some nice touches. For example, you've got a humongous amount of glass on the side as well. You got lines where there needs to be. You got bits of black plastic strips as well, and they're all nice touches as well. And the lights come around at the side too, and it's just an overall, it's boring, kind of, yes, but you kind of expect it to be, and it's not bad for what it is. One thing I will say that I've just noticed now is that if you look at the driver's window, the front, it's slightly lower than the two rear windows. Like, why does it not match? Other than that, it's fine for what it is. Now, I'm just going to show you this. This is the pre-facelift rear. Now, I'm going to show you this because I want you to look at the word Dacia. Now, if I go into the facelift, it's exactly the same, but that logo has completely changed. So now it's their new sort of logo, and you can see that the D and the C are the similar shapes as the front, and then they come together to make Dacia. Now, it's tall and it's boxy, but the lights are a nice design. For example, they come down and then they meet down here, like a Volvo. But this kind of has, even though it's a cheaper design, it definitely is worth that cheaper design, if you get what I mean. It's just everything's in the right place, really. I mean, it's boring, yes, but it's got flamboyance, such as the lights and especially the logo, which I think is a sticker. If I might be wrong, I don't think I am, but I might be. But anyway, the Dacia logo is quite cool now. Those lights are pretty cool for the cost of this car. And the overall shapes and designs and cutouts, well, you know, they add a bit of flamboyance to it as well and make it a bit less boring. When it comes to the inside, well, of course, don't forget it is a budget car, so don't expect Lexus. However, even though there are bits and places where there are hard plastics, there are soft touches as well, such as if you look in the middle of the dash completely, like not the top, not the glove box, in the middle, that's a nice sort of material as well. Now, if you get the base model, you don't get that big touchscreen. I don't know about the modern ones, the facelift ones, but on the base one you didn't get that. But you do get a USB and you do get a place to hold your phone on as well. And your overall layout is nice as well. So you obviously got your normal air vents and you got like seat belts and warning lights. And then you got climate controls, which are normal knobs as well. So literally one for the direction you want it to go in, one on what temperature you want, and one on how powerful you want. And then air conditioning and front heat, windscreen, all that. All perfectly laid out, perfectly fine. It's a little bit low, yes, but don't forget I have seen a lot worse, and this is not an expensive car, so you don't expect them to figure out and design a car where, you know, everything's all at the top here, like this. So you know what, I can accept it for what it is, and it's a nice overall look, and it's decently laid out as well. Now, the performance, this is a bit little complicated, so give me a minute. So, the pre-facelift only got one engine choice, and it was this. This is a 1 litre inline 3-cylinder turbo. Now this, of course, is the Renault-Nissan Alliance engine. So 109 horsepower and 148 pound-feet of torque. It was front-wheel drive, of course, and the weight is only 1200 kilograms, which is quite light for what it is. Gearbox is only a 6-speed manual. Unfortunately, there was no automatic option. So if you wanted a Dacia Jogger on the pre-facelift one before you even knew that the facelift would come out, unfortunately there was no automatic option, which is a shame. 0 to 60 is about 10.8 seconds, which isn't rapid, but it doesn't need to be. Top speed is 114 miles an hour, which is decent enough for a car of this size, really. And everything, you know, kind of starting to sound robotic. Oof. I'm geared to hunt down Sarah Connor, apparently. But yeah, unfortunately, only one gearbox option, which is a shame. And even on the facelift, you only got a manual option. However, the facelift did introduce a hybrid, which was an automatic. However, if you didn't want a hybrid, but you still wanted an automatic, you have no choice really. There is absolutely nothing. And plus, at the very beginning they only gave one option, engine choice, which isn't a lot. I say it isn't a lot, it's pretty much nothing. And yes, they added this hybrid, granted, but it's still not much. There's 2 options, like, I mean, a bit more would be nice. But anyway, I'll get into something else after. Just give me a second with this. So this has a 1.6 litre inline 4-cylinder, which on its own, I think creates about 93 horsepower. And then obviously you've got the electric motor and batteries as well. So altogether, you get 140 horsepower. And altogether, with the electric motor and the engine, you get 257 pound-feet of torque, which is great. The weight is 1385 kilograms to 1406 kilograms, if I said that right. Gearbox is a multi-mode automatic, which I'm not sure. Some say 4-speed, some say 0, some say 1-speed. I really don't know. I think it might be a 4-speed, I think. 0 to 60 is a bit quicker at 9.8 seconds, and top speed is lower at 104 miles an hour. Now, I keep saying that, you know, there's not much engine choice. You know, they had one at the beginning with only one gearbox, and then they had two in the end, and only one of them was an automatic, and it was a hybrid. However, in other markets, you could get a bi-fuel one with LPG. Now, UK doesn't get this, but they say that when I say they, I mean Dacia, say that if there is enough demand for it, we will bring a bi-fuel over here. Now, I believe the Sandero and the Duster, previous versions anyway, have had bi-fuel. It's just that this hasn't got it yet. So right now, these are the only two you can get. So that kind of does make 3 engines, but right now it's just 2 for the UK, and technically 1 at the beginning, which isn't great. So, practicality. So, with all 7 seats up, you get 160 litres of boot space on the parcel shelf. Now, obviously that's not a lot, that's like small hatchback size, and granted, if you do have 7 people, you're not going to get all the luggage in there, frankly. It's not going to be great. However, this small boot space for 7 seats is a common thing. Look at, you know, other 7-seater MPVs like the Volkswagen Touran. That hasn't got much space in 7-seater mode anyway. So granted, it's not a lot of boot space in general. However, it is normal. Now, if you just fold the 2 seats, just fold them like that, you get 565 litres, which is a good amount. Very good. And if you completely fold them, like when they're folded, and then fold them back up again like this, that might have been too close to you guys, I'm so sorry. And then, or even take them out, you get 700 litres of boot space, which is humongous, frankly. And if you put the 3 middle seats down as well, you get like 1800 litres of space. Now, granted, one thing I will say is that when you do fold the seats down, they don't unfortunately fold flat into the floor. There is a bit of a sort of a lip. Yeah, the seats are flat themselves, but there is a lip from where they sit. So unfortunately, it may be harder to get stuff into there if you've got a heavy suitcase or something like that. But the point still stands, you get a lot of boot space as standard. Now, obviously, there's plenty of seats in this car. So the middle seats, let's start with that. So headroom, brilliant. Legroom was decent enough. You know, it could be a little bit tight depending on how the driver's sitting if you were over 6 foot. However, for majority of tall people, you would be alright. You couldn't really complain about it, really. And the back seats, now in a lot of 7-seater cars, you know, the back seats are mainly for use from time to time. You shouldn't really be using it that often because, you know, it's not the biggest space. However, legroom was also alright back there, and headroom was also really good back there as well. Now, especially considering that the roof just stays flat like this and it's a tall boxy design, headroom is pretty much, well, self-explanatory really, which is great. Really good on that. Well done, Dacia. An actual practical 7-seater is definitely something that the world needs. I'm pretty sure there are others, but for this price point, really good. So the handling and the comfort. So let's start with the comfort, and well, brilliant. It soaked up bumps brilliantly. I mean, obviously it's no Rolls Royce, it's no Citroen with their hydro pneumatic suspension, I think they call it, but it's still very, very, very comfortable. It soaked up bumps really, really well. Doesn't matter if they're bumps, potholes, cracks, or whatever. It did it really, really well. And frankly, that is a good thing, especially for what kind of car it is. It's a people carrier and it carries people, and that's the last thing you want, for it to be uncomfortable. Now, the trade-off is the handling. So obviously, because it's, you know, its suspension is somewhat high on its ride, and obviously its suspension is soft for the comfort, handling is a bit compromised. So obviously there is body roll as a result of having taller suspension and it being soft. And steering feedback wasn't the best, and it can be a bit slow sometimes. So handling wasn't the best down the twisty B road. However, you know, depending on how you drive it, it can hold its own. I mean, obviously this car isn't supposed to handle, it's supposed to carry people. So I don't even know why we care about how this car handles, but it could just about hold its own really, so you didn't need to worry too much about it really. Is there anything else worth noting? Not that I can think of, besides one thing, is that Euro NCAP gave it only 1 star in their safety rating. Now, the reason I'm not complaining too much about it, and the reason I'm not calling it a con, is this. So as the years go on, Euro NCAP rules get stricter and stricter and stricter, which means companies have to work harder to make their cars safer. Now obviously Dacia is a budget brand, so they're obviously going to take cost cuts some places. I can't speak anymore. Now it is decently safe for children and for adults. You know, those percentages are fine. The problem is that it's the lack of safety features that they fit to it. And of course, even though the specs are high for the passengers, obviously it's not the highest you can get, which drops it down, but the main problem is it's the safety features, because safety features are now involved in how safe a car is. Compared to, give it 20 years ago, it would have been how safe the car is. As soon as if you hit it like this, has the steering wheel moved, have the pedals moved, has the frame changed shape? Obviously that's still involved now, but obviously it's got more stricter, and obviously it involves what safety systems. So for example, it's got some sort of brake assist that can, or something like that can sense cars but can't sense anything else. And there's no seatbelt warning lights for the 2 seats at the very back, so obviously that drops it too. Now don't let this put you off. It's not an unsafe car. I'm not saying that at all. It is pretty safe. It's just lacking safety features. But it has got some safety features to it. So it's not like you're going on basic bones of, safety. You have got some stuff to it. And cars these days have to have these sort of systems anyway. So you're not specifically lacking. It's going to be safe for you and your children. I mean, as much as people say it's a con, it's very strict, and it's lacking, so that's the reason it hasn't got that much of a star. Well, it's got 1 star, but the point still stands. So like I said, don't worry about it. It's safe overall. I mean, if you want safety features, then you unfortunately have to go somewhere else and look at something more expensive. This of course is a budget car, so you get what you pay for, but you have to understand it as well. I'm pretty sure some people might complain with the things I've just said, but anyway, the verdict. So the pros are, it has a good headroom, the legroom was also alright, the boot space was great, the exterior looks were alright for what it is, decent enough interior, and the ride was really, really good. However, the cons are the 7-seater boot. Now this is expected, because just in general it's bad, but for what it is, it being a 7-seater and other 7-seaters having small boot space like that, it's normal. I don't know where I just went here. The handling, well, obviously it wasn't the best, but that's expected. I mean, come on. An automatic 1 litre would be nice, because if you don't want a hybrid but you want an automatic, then you're kind of stuffed. And then more engine choices would be nice, for the UK anyway, because right now there's only 2 engine choices, one at the very beginning, and well, even though there's LPG that exists someplace else, we don't get it, and that's technically like a 3rd engine. You can kind of think of it like that. But unfortunately that's all we get. That concludes the review of the Dacia Jogger. Now, even though it's lacking in its safety systems, and your NCAP says 1 star instead of 5, and that it's a limited engine choice, it's a still pretty good car for what it is, for that price, for that budget. It is really good. I definitely recommend it to someone who wants a brand new car that's a 7-seater as well, that can cost the same as a used 7-seater. And especially if you're not looking for all those safety features. Some people will turn all these safety features off if they have the choice to. They may not like it. Some people may not even care about it. Some people may not even drive that far. Now, like I said, there's not going to be any reviews for the next 2 to 3 weeks. But that shouldn't stop you from leaving a comment below saying if you want a certain car reviewed. Obviously, if you do leave it within the first week or 2, obviously you won't get that review for some time, because obviously I wouldn't be making it, but it will be in the cards of what to make. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Almost messed up there. Not the next week's video, because obviously there aren't any. So I'll see you guys whenever that turns out to be. 2-3 weeks, I don't know. But I'll see you then. Peace.